Welcome back to that handicapping show at bloodhorse.com. I'm Tom LaMarra, joined by Frank Angst. Claire is on her way to New York to begin online coverage of the Belmont Stakes, but she'll be back on the show next week from Belmont Park. Race that we're looking at this week is the Penn Mile, a $500,000 race run for the first time last year. Drew a field of 8 at Penn National, which will run its usual evening card beginning at 6. The Penn Mile is the 4th race on the card. The turf course they just started using, scheduling races on it last week, and they've had some rainouts. The weather's supposed to be pretty good Friday and Saturday, but again, there hasn't been a whole lot of action on that turf course yet, so it should be interesting to see what it looks like and how it plays. Really good field here of 3-year-olds. 4 of them have excellent turf form. 4 of them have never run on the grass, and one of them, Coastline, is probably the most interesting of that group. But there could be a quick pace in this race. Frank, how do you see it shaping up?
Yeah, I agree. I think there's going to be a nice early pace here with Bobby's Kitten and Storming Inti. Those two are two very good horses as well. They could definitely carry that speed, and those two, along with some others that are coming in, I think it's going to ensure an early pace here. That's where I was looking at 2 closers, Global View, and Todd Pletcher's horse on the outside, Divine Oath.
Okay, yeah, Global View drew the rail here. Really nice horse, and actually Global View and Storming Inti ran 1-2 in the American Turf at Churchill Downs on Kentucky Derby Day. Global View from off the pace was toward the inside, I think, or mid-pack, but when he was angled outside by Gary Stevens, he really took off in that race. Pretty good final time, 1:41.3 for a mile and a 16th. It was a strong race. Storming Inti ran lights out in that race and just got beat. Interesting, Stevens is scheduled to come into Penn National to ride Global View.
Yeah, I looked up yesterday just to check, and if I was looking right, it looks like this will be Gary's first trip ever to Penn National. He's ridden at more than 100 tracks in a dozen countries. So his first trip to Penn National. And these are some of the things that happen when you have a big race day like this. Really nice addition to Penn National schedule. The fans get to see jockeys that maybe they watch on television or simulcast most of the year, but it's nice when they come in. And part of the reason I like this horse is that Gary's sticking with it, and this Global View is my ultimate pick here. I like the fact that Gary just won on it and he's coming back again. The horse has won 3 out of 4 on turf. The one loss was the Bobby's Kitten, but I think this time Bobby's Kitten might get a little wore down early by some of the other early pace here. Global View, I also think, is improving, and I think he still hasn't had the huge jump up. I think maybe it comes here and he gets it done. Yeah,
I'm kind of leaning toward him too. Nothing wrong with Bobby's Kitten. He is a speed horse, and he's run exceptionally well. You really need to just draw a line through his 12th place effort in the Bluegrass. It was on the poly track. Every one of these horses, of this horse's other races, were on the turf, and he's run exceptionally well. But like we said, we don't know how the turf's going to play, and there should be some early action in this race from horses like Sing the Dream, Mr. Brioni. Coastline, I never know what to make of him. I'm intrigued that he's finally going to run on the turf. The price might be right. Stuart Elliott is in to ride. I'm not going to pick him on top, but he's an interesting horse. And again, as Frank had pointed out, Divine Oath, ran a good second behind Mr. Speaker in the Lexington at Keeneland, which was also poly track, but his other 2 races were wins on the turf at Gulfstream Park at 7.5. So clearly this is a really good distance for this horse, and he may be the price. Chris DiCarlo rides for Pletcher because Javier Castellano is sticking with Bobby's Kitten.
Yeah, and you look at Divine Oath, and his previous win, he started from post 10 at Gulfstream. So obviously this horse doesn't mind being on the outside. He and Chris DiCarlo should get a chance to see how the early pace plays. So I think this will actually be a good post for him. And he's already shown that he can close, so that's all a good fit. Has done nothing wrong on the turf, 2 for 2, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if he jumps up and wins this stakes race.
Yeah, he looks pretty tough here, and but we'll just have to see how it plays out. Should be an interesting race. Also, there is the the Pennsylvania Governor's Cup at 5 furlongs on the turf on that card. The Mountain View at 1.125 on the dirt for 3-year-olds and up. Taptown entered in that race, and I was told that he was leaving for Penn National on Thursday morning. And new race, the Penn Oaks for 3-year-old fillies at a mile on the grass also drew up a pretty interesting field of 8. So that's Penn National. Also, there is a Grade 1 this weekend at Santa Anita, and that's for 3-year-old fillies on the grass, the American Oaks. We're not going to handicap that race on the show, but absolutely a race to watch. There are some really nice, lightly raced 3-year-old fillies in this race, I think, who could have a say in some big stakes heading down the road this year.
On that Penn National card, keep in mind that they front-loaded these stakes. These stakes will come, Penn National, of course, runs in the evening, and these stakes will run early in the card. So don't wait around thinking, oh, the stakes will be late in the card, as a lot of tradition goes.
Yes.
These will actually be early in the card. So.
Yeah, there are lights at Penn National, but they are not inside the turf course, so the turf course isn't lighted. So the rest of the card will be run on the dirt, I think, after the 5th. So that's it for this week on that handicapping show. We thank Brisnut.com for the PPs. For Frank, I'm Tom. We'll see you next week on that handicapping show.